Hello everyone, this is Terrible Dactyl and welcome to, an impromptu Jurassic Plastic unboxing. I wasn't planning to do an unboxing today, but it just so happens that I recently won a couple, two, three, four, five, six or so eBay auctions. It seems like somebody was selling part of their collection, and I jumped on that chance. The collection they were unloading were some Carnegie Collection models that I didn't have. A couple of the models that I did have other versions of, but for my website and things like that, I want to be able to photograph some different versions up close and be able to compare them and things like that. So I was able to get these very cheaply, especially since they were combined shipping. The only issue with them apparently is that all these models were at one point stuck together on a dinosaur mountain, so they're going to have a little bit of glue and other imperfections on the bottom of the model. But for like a little over $1 a piece, that's not something that I'm going to mind very much, especially if it's mostly models that I already have different variants of. So I just first want to call attention to the fact that this seller did a good job of packaging this box together. I don't think any of these models are particularly delicate, but you have to admire the fact that it says "Do not smash" on here, as if the postal workers are the Hulk or something like that. Anyway, without further ado, let's crack this puppy open. Okie doke, what have we here? Oh, where do I start? Let's see. This is one I was actually kind of looking forward to. So I'll start with the Carnegie Collection Triceratops. I recently did a video or review, I'm not sure when exactly I'm going to have that uploaded, of the original Carnegie Collection Triceratops, and this is one of the later editions that you don't see around too often. This is the blue and black spotted one, which is kind of cool. I remember when I first saw these coming out, I was like, oh, what are they doing with the color schemes on these Carnegie models? They used to be so subtle and lifelike, and now we've got, blue and black and some kind of light brown or maroon spots? I don't know. Like, between this and the Pachycephalosaurus, I was a little bit turned off by that. But now, I appreciate it for its difference. There are a lot of Triceratops variants out there. They're pretty much all slight variants on the same theme, the basic gray and black. So I kind of appreciate an oddball like this. Now, since this is an impromptu unboxing, I'm not going to do a big review for each of these. If you want to see me go in more depth, more detail, do walk-arounds for any of these models, just let me know in the comments. For right now, I just want to very quickly highlight the bottom of the feet. There is a little bit of glue here where they were attached to that dinosaur mountain display, and a little bit of the plastic even came off here, but that's okay. For a couple of bucks, I don't mind. I'm not going to display it with its feet up anyway, right? Alright, so that is the Carnegie Triceratops. It still says 1988 on the bottom. Although I think this Triceratops actually came out in 1998 or so, maybe even 1999. This Triceratops is not pictured in that 1988 collector's guide, which I showed on one of my previous episodes. So it either came out a little bit later in 1988 or possibly 1989 before it was replaced by the resculpted Triceratops. So I think it's a rather short-lived model. Wasn't available at retail for too long, or at least manufactured for too long. What's in this one? Here we go. It is my 700th Stegosaurus. Can I open this with my bare hands? Maybe I did need the Hulk in here. Alright, here we go. Once again, seller, thank you for packaging these so well. Even though, they're not exactly mint condition models here. This is, of course, the orange Stegosaurus, but but it is different from the other orange Stegosaurus. It has a lot more brown on it. There's no white on this model. I think I'm on the record saying that the cream, orange, and white Stegosaurus is my favorite of the Carnegie Stegosauruses. This is probably a slightly later variant of that. There's no white on it. There's some brown streaks, which I actually like. I like these little brown streaks, a little bit of a wash on the plates there. It's kind of nice. I do still prefer the one with the white on it. I guess they cut that white to just kind of make it a little cheaper. So that is the Stegosaurus from approximately 1997, when the line was switching over to color vinyl. What do we have next? I don't totally remember everything that I ordered, so this is a little bit of a surprise for me too. Okay, here we have one of the later versions of the Carnegie Collection, Allosaurus. Now, I purchased this Allosaurus, not this Allosaurus obviously, but the first redone Allosaurus at a physical store back when it first came out. Remember those, when you could buy Safari models at physical stores besides Michael's? Where else do people get Safari models these days besides online? I don't know. What's going on with the mold on the hands here? Do you see this? Look how flat this is. Something happened to the mold on this Allosaurus between the time I bought my original one and when they came out with this. The whole thing feels thinner. That's very interesting. I'm going to have to do a comparison video between these two Allosauruses because I didn't know they were that different. This is the one that's got a little bit of a bright neon green paint application to it. The older one I had is fully painted. This is from the color vinyl era, and it has the large CE mark on the bottom, which tells me that this is from probably post 1980, sorry, not 1988, post 1998. I'm not sure exactly when this particular color variant came out. It's very rigid plastic though. This might be a later one. This might be like early 2000s. I'm gonna have to do a little more research to figure that out. Some of this stuff on the foot here. You know, I do have another dinosaur, the Allosaurus, that when I purchased it at the store, it was still on the store's display base. And it has no glue on the bottom. It seems like the paint just came off. These look like they started gluing them down onto maybe like a piece of paper or some kind of adhesive, like a little sticky pad or something, so that they could be moved around. That's so weird. Look at the hands. What's going on with the claws on this thing? Is that just this version, or are the other color vinyl Allosauruses like that too? If you have a color vinyl Allosaurus that's not this neon green, like, you know, the really bright green, some of the other ones are more dull green or olive green, let me know if it's got these weird hands. Or even the 2007 version, which I don't have. I wonder if the 2007 version has these weird flat hands. Huh. Alright, let's move on. Styrofoam peanuts in there, okay. Let's see what could be inside. One of the only ones that is a model that I didn't previously have, but I probably should have. It's the Acrocanthosaurus. I've been meaning to get this for a long time. They're very readily available. I remember a few years back when one of those retail websites, was it D. Jenkins maybe, or Dan's Dinosaurs, one of those, they discovered a whole bunch of these, like a whole crate full of them, and they were unloading them for like $5 or $6 a pop. And you can get them now online, like on eBay, for usually around $10 to $12. I still was kind of waiting for a good deal because I knew that the market had been a little flooded with these at one point. And I'm glad I did wait, because even though it's got this glue on the foot and it's not in perfect condition, obviously, it was a lot cheaper. Will it stand up with that glue there? I might have to go a little X-Acto on that foot. But anyway, it's a cool model. It's 140, which, you know, it's one of the only 140 original, you know, new species Carnegie dinosaurs I didn't have before. So it's nice to finally add that. I can go pop that on my dinosaur mountain, but not glue it down. This one is a little looser. Let's go. This looks like it is the original color Deinosuchus, which I always wanted to get the original because it's got this wonderful bright blue color, little scraped on the bottom there where they attached it to the Carnegie mountain. Obviously they didn't really intend for those display pieces to be sold, so you can see some of the belly stamp has been removed, but I knew that before I bought it. That's okay. I really just want this for display. And yeah, they did have these little sticky pads attached to them. That's interesting how they started doing that. And of course this one is made of this bendable vinyl material, which is weird. I always thought that was a little weird when it first came out, that they were starting to add action features to Carnegie models. This was before they started having you know, movable jaws and things like that. It's kind of cool that you can pose it, I guess. I think I'd rather they just picked a pose, especially since Deinosuchus, as we now know, had a rather inflexible neck. I don't think you get the neck much more flexed than this. Having trouble focusing on this thin little guy. Here he is. I do prefer the color scheme on this one though than on the original Deinosuchus. So that's cool to finally add to my collection. Next up, we've got this little fella. And that is the original version of Oviraptor. And this Oviraptor is obviously the 2007 version, or was it 2006? I'll have to double check. Before they redid this with wing feathers and tail feathers. So this one is a little plain Jane. But actually the paint application on the head, I feel on this sample, is a little better than my feathery Oviraptor. This one had one of the fastest turnaround times for any full resculpts. And this is even in a fairly different pose than the new one, so it is a complete resculpt, not just a retool when they redid this one. There is our Carnegie Oviraptor. My camera really just wants to focus on this box. Let me move this box out of the way. Alright, last but not least, we have got something rather big. This is the Carnegie Deinosuchus. And I do have the original Deinosuchus, which was one of the last Carnegie dinosaurs I remember buying in a physical store back in the old days. And I'm curious to see how much of a change there was, how much of variation. This one's a lot greener around the face than the one I have, which you can see on my website, and it also has that different eye. The original Deinosuchus just has an all black eye. This one has a gray eye with a little vertical pupil. And the feet do seem thin, but it seems like they've been scraped to come off of the mountain display. It's got a larger CE mark on the belly. The colors actually look a little bit more vivid on this. The sample is a little dusty. I might have to give this a little wiping off before I put it on my display. But the yellow definitely looks a little bit more vivid. They even glued down the tail. Not messing around, Safari. Do not want anybody tampering with those Carnegie mountains. Alright everybody, well thank you for joining me for this little unplanned unboxing. If you would like to see any of these models closer up, comparisons with other variants, oh, can't get that thing to stand up. Just let me know. And thanks again for watching Jurassic Plastic. Be sure to hit the subscribe button